What makes a campus unique? I'm sure the first thing that comes to mind is the library or the dorms where students will spend the majority of their time, and most definitely the food. All of these are very important because they are staple pieces to every university. They are what many students look at when applying to colleges. However, it's the places that stand out on each campus that make them unique. My name is Sarah Schroyer, and I will be discussing the spaces that many people may overlook. Specifically, the square in front of the Patterson office tower, which stands out to me. In a central location on the University of Kentucky's campus, it sees many students and faculty personnel every day. As students go to and from classes, they walk through this area and socialize, study, or simply sit down. This space is centered with the statue of Kentucky's first president, with trees placed around the benches, and a half wall surrounding the square. During the rush hour of classes, you can hear herds of students walking and talking. The atmosphere of the space is inclusive and studious, with both a calm or a tense vibe depending on the hour. Human experiences are shaped in the space by creating a gathering destination and a location to rest. The space has a visual purpose. As students walk through the area, it's a positive and necessary connecting point to many places on campus. And it also adds a meaningful tribute to the hard work of the school. In order to reveal other students' thoughts on the space, I interviewed two people, both living on campus. The first person I spoke to was Spencer Combs, who is a sophomore engineering major at the University of Kentucky. My first question to him was if he is near the Patterson Square often.
Yeah, majority of my classes are in Whitehall, so when I have a class on the south side of Whitehall, I usually walk through the courtyard to get to my class.
This question allowed me to prove his credibility towards my topic, since he does know and pass through the area frequently. Another question I asked Spencer was if he thinks the common area provides any real benefits to the students, to which he said,
I think that the common area, it's a good visual. It visually adds to the area, it looks good, but I've rarely seen people actually use the benches or study there, usually because usually they would just be in Whitehall instead. But sometimes I do see people sitting on the half wall on the backside by the trees because it's just a nice place to sit.
His opinion of the space is that it is simply a place of passerbys in which you may say friendly remarks to friends as they come and go. Although it is not used as it most likely had been intended, it does exhibit some importance. My final question to Spencer was if he thought the space was important to the University of Kentucky as a whole.
I would say it's pretty important. It's right next to Patterson Office Tower, which is a main part of campus where most teachers have their office hours. And the statue is also Kentucky's first president, so it's a good visualization of the founding. And it's also a centerpiece right next to the Patterson Office Tower and right next to Whitehall, where a majority of people's classes are. So it's kind of a central part of campus, I would say.
Based on this interview, I would conclude that this space is most likely unappreciated by most students, and rather seen simply as a central space in which many people walk through. However, maybe if it's thought of more thoroughly, they may admit it holds some value and contributes to the students and professors on campus. Spencer's comment about the statue exhibiting the school's founding interested me, because while many students might not even know what the statue is, it still has importance to the campus through integrity and school spirit. It's also possible that it shows importance to the tours of UK, to the families and possible future students, because it shows that we are connected and hopefully inspires them. My second interview was with Nicole Weinzimmer, who is a freshman psychology major here at UK. Nicole only has one class in Whitehall, but she often walks through the space to get to the student center or to her other classes. Originally, when asked if she thinks the space adds any value to the campus, she said,
I don't think that it has a lot of value because I think that students would rather congregate in other places because there aren't that many seating areas and there are a lot of places on campus that are less crowded during the middle of the day.
As expected, Nicole also said it is a place to pass through and simply to see other people.
It's a shared space. Most students walk through it at some point during the day, so it's a common place to see familiar faces.
Since this space is so close to major class buildings, it can get tense during busy hours of the day. As Nicole told me,
During the day, it's a very crowded space, and that could be overwhelming to some students, so that could cause them to want to study or socialize in less crowded areas on campus.
when I first asked her about this space, she saw it only as a space she walks through. However, throughout the interview, her answers transitioned to describing it as being full of greenery and an open space in a good location. Since I do believe I may be one of the only people looking at this space in a detailed manner, it shows how, at first glance, the appearance of the space will be quite different due to our perspectives. While I originally saw the space as an important meeting location and a seating area to study in or relax in between classes, that has slightly altered since speaking to other students. Most people would say that this space isn't actually used very often, especially in the colder months, and is only known because of its central location. The question remains if the space still holds any value, and I believe it does, but in a different way than I had originally anticipated. The placement of the statue, at the very minimum, provides visual appeal, and I may also go as far as saying it signifies the strong sense of community and education on campus. While this area overall may be seen as unimportant and may not be a social hub on campus, I have gathered that even if a space is used less frequently, its visual appeal remains valuable. This space symbolizes connection and resilience with our educators and students. The simple yet powerful depiction of a central and inclusive area within our campus. Rather than adding a random sculpture or making the campus dull, they chose a meaningful statue to inspire students and to add even more unique character to the University of Kentucky.